in the 24 hours after, when we were still looking for the guy, I know you posted that we got him. That ended up not being true. You took some incoming because of that. What led to you posting that? Why did you feel so certain about it? And what do you have to say about the criticism?
As we discussed in our most recent video, amidst a bombshell Fox News report that he's potentially on the chopping block for recent embarrassments, Donald Trump's FBI director, Kash Patel, actually went on Fox News in a desperate attempt to defend and spin his terrible record. And he was visibly panicked doing so. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have a couple of clips to play from Kash Patel's Fox News interview, and you can see that even these MAGA-friendly Fox News hosts on Fox and Friends, you just see it on their face and you can hear it in their voices. They're not super thrilled with his performance. And again, this is contextualized by that bombshell report corroborated by 10 members of the Trump White House in that report. Here's Kash Patel.
But you can't have a political slant saying we're not going to attack different political ideologies because it's going to offend someone.
You're absolutely right, and that's why me and the deputy have been quarterbacking this investigation ourselves. There is no one at the FBI that's going to politicize this investigation. There's no one at Quantico or anywhere else that is going to say we are not looking at X or Y. We are looking at the facts, and that is why we are releasing the facts in record fashion. If you go back and look at historical cases like Luigi Mangione and the Boston bombing, how long did it take the Bureau to release information to the public? We're not doing that. Those two manhunts took 5 days, and they happened in downtown major metropolises. We apprehended our suspect in 33 hours because we were transparent and open with the American public, and we're going to continue to do that. So anyone that thinks that the FBI is not on top of its game and that me and the deputy and everybody in leadership in our Salt Lake City field office in Quantico is doing anything politically, I'm not having it. And if you've heard anything else about it, they are lying to you.
So again, you can hear it in his voice. He's panicked. He's like speaking like an auctioneer, just a million words per minute, trying to defend himself. The question was about what, the political valence of this particular investigation. And instead, Patel is making it all about him. If anybody thinks that I'm not on top of this and I'm not doing a really good job, you guys are just crazy. You guys are like lying. And again, it's in kind of like an indirect shot at Fox News itself, because Fox News was the one who broke the story that Kash Patel is in deep shit with the Trump administration because of these recent embarrassments, to say nothing of the fact that this manhunt ended because the suspect surrendered himself. Now, I'm sure that there was some great law enforcement work behind the scenes, but for Kash Patel to say that basically I get the credit because we got the suspect. Well, number one, the suspect surrendered himself, I believe, to local authorities in Utah. Number two, he surrendered himself despite your incompetence. That, again, Fox will ask him about in just a second. But here we have another clip.
So the local authorities have been fantastic.
Okay.
The local sheriff, the state PD have been wonderful. And any investigation, as you hinted to, of this magnitude has so many people in it because I'd made the decision to surge so many resources. And to get the information up to me was of the utmost priority. So I worked with my team to say, hey, there's not going to be any delays. We're not going to do it the way we normally do things. So the only thing that people were doing at the FBI was how they knew how to do things. I had to expedite that process. That's my job. That's what I thought this case deserved. And that's what this case was rightly calling for. So I made the tough calls. But I wasn't critical of anyone in particular. I just said, we got to move faster. And that was my call to make. And if there's any criticism there, you can put it right here.
Who wasn't giving you information, Director? Who wasn't giving you the photos when you requested them quickly and it didn't make it to you? Who denied that order?
It's not a denial of the order. Just to clarify, I'm glad we're talking about this. The photos were produced. They just weren't produced in a timely fashion that I felt was appropriate for an investigation of this magnitude.
So Patel is trying to throw other people under the bus and also, do what a lot of people say is the right thing to do, which I agree, which is when you're the leader, take responsibility for yourself. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. Hey, listen, guys, I'm the leader. It's all on me. And he screwed up, but also it's actually everybody else's fault. So then when Fox is like, okay, well then who screwed up here if not you? Well, I'm not saying that other people screwed up. It's just, I just don't, exactly. And then move on to the next thing. Again, pretty pathetic and pretty embarrassing that Kash Patel's trying to simultaneously have a foot in both worlds, getting all the credit to redeem himself in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of MAGA in particular, who are rapidly losing faith in him. But this is where he gets particularly grilled about his communication, his false communication. Minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot, we have a suspect in custody. We got the bastard. We got the guy. And then, of course, it turned out to be a giant, giant mess. He's asked about it here.
So in the 24 hours after, when we were still looking for the guy, I know you posted that we got him. That ended up not being true. You took some incoming because of that. What led to you posting that? Why did you feel so certain about it? And what do you have to say about the criticism?
No, I appreciate this opportunity. Look, as I stated, I was being transparent with working with the public on our findings as I had them. I stated in that message that we had a subject and that we were going to interview him, and we did, and he was released. The job of the FBI is not just to manhunt the actual suspect who did the killing or suspects, but it's also to eliminate targets and eliminate subjects who are not involved in the process, and that's what we were doing. Could I have worded it a little better in the heat of the moment? Sure. But do I regret putting it out? Absolutely not. I was telling the world what the FBI was doing as we were doing, and I'm continuing to do that, and I challenge anyone out there to find a director that has been more transparent and more willing to work the media on high-profile cases, or any case the FBI is handling, than we have been.
So again, just lying his ass off. Okay, I mean, good on Kilmeade and for asking him that question, but I want you to see a screenshot here. This is what Patel originally said. The subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Not a suspect, the subject that he says took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local state enforcements. And then he says, afterwards, the guy's been released after an interrogation because you didn't have him. You just didn't have him. And so this was embarrassing on so many levels. This is a desperate attempt at crisis management and PR spin by a beleaguered FBI director who is objectively out of his element. Again, note the spin. If anyone doubts our transparency, and I'm like, we're just like on top of it, we're communicating with people, we're just saying whatever the hell crosses our mind, like that's maximum transparency. And like anyone who says otherwise, like they can just fight me in real life. Like, bro, relax. Well, I guess you know what, to be fair, you probably shouldn't relax. You probably should be worried given your gross incompetence in so many ways. Again, as discussed in that previous bombshell Fox News report about FBI Director Kash Patel, the fact that he's going to have another co-deputy FBI director to hold his hand and actually do the lion's share of the work because he doesn't know what he's doing. Dan Bongino is the current deputy FBI director, and even though he used to be a Secret Service agent, so he has some level of experience, he doesn't have administrative experience to run an organization as massive as the FBI. So Patel doesn't know what he's doing. Dan Bongino doesn't know what he's doing. And now they have to get Andrew Bailey, the former Missouri Attorney General, to step in and actually do the work while they get to sit up there and be figureheads for the MAGA movement. And to have it all backfire, Kash Patel was recently a darling of the MAGA movement. They loved him, but now they are publicly condemning him and criticizing him for his failures, his screw-ups. Not all of them, obviously, but to have Laura Ingraham and Christopher Rufo, just to name a few, publicly criticizing Patel the way he has and saying, you know what, maybe we just need to let this guy go. Maybe he was the wrong man for the job. Maybe he needs to be fired. Then you have this Fox News report talking about how 10 very highly placed sources within the Trump administration in multiple agencies and in the executive office of the president are actually, saying that he's in serious jeopardy here professionally. That has to be humiliating, and his nervousness is palpable, but I don't think it's going to reassure anybody who already wasn't predisposed to take everything he says at face value. But we'll see what happens. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.